I'm going to make my giant size oatmeal cookies, and these are a great way to start the day. I call them my breakfast go-go cookies. 1 cup and 6 tablespoons of butter mixed with 3/4 cups of brown sugar and 1/2 cup of regular sugar. I use baking sugar. It's a little finer, and I definitely use unsalted butter. So you just mix this at a medium speed until it's nice and creamy. Sometimes you need to feed it back in with a wooden spoon, help it get all done. Okay, now we're going to add the eggs. 2 eggs. There we go. And a teaspoon of vanilla. There we go. And just whip it up again. You've got to get this real creamy and all mixed in. And then you're going to be putting in your flour. This is 1/2 cup of flour, a teaspoon of cinnamon and baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Let's get this going. Get it all incorporated in there. I'm working my flour into the egg and butter mixture, egg, butter, and sugar mixture. Yeah, let's just throw it all in. So now we're ready to add our oats. We got 3 cups of oats and 1 cup of raisins. I'm going to just stir this in a little bit so it makes it easier for the blender. Otherwise I have oatmeal all over the place. Let's put this in here and blend it up again. This is where the power mixer really helps, because it's much easier to mix all this stuff up. If you use a hand mixer, it takes a little more effort. It's looking pretty good. I've preheated my oven to 350, and I've lined the cookie trays with parchment paper. It makes it much easier to get off and pour right on the cookie sheet. Here we go. I'm using my 1/2 cup scooper. I'm not filling it all the way, but it's almost a 1/2 cup for each cookie. And then I just kind of squish it down, push it in there, help it playing with the dough a little bit. Of course, I've washed my hands. And here's another one. You can see we're probably only going to get about a dozen cookies out of this, but they'll be real big cookies. They go in the oven, and I put mine about 15 minutes at 350 because I like them crunchy. And then I'll make the frosting. I'm going to make a cookie glaze that's really simple, and just about 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. And then this is where it gets a little tricky. I kind of go by the texture. I'll put about 3 teaspoons of my 1/2 and about the same of my corn syrup. And there. And then the last thing I need is about 1/4 teaspoon of my almond extract. Like I say, you kind of have to work it in, get the right texture. It takes a while. It's a real, pretty thick cookie glaze, so you want it fairly thick. Oh, looks pretty good. You get it all mixed in real good there. Let's take a look and see how they're doing. Looks like they need a little bit longer. They're big cookies, so they really cook up. You kind of want to leave them in until they get kind of golden on the outside. So they're a little crispy. They will firm up as they cool, but it's usually best to frost them while they're still warm. Okay, I'm ready to frost these. And oatmeal cookies aren't normally frosted because they're kind of bumpy, you know. It's really not that easy to frost them. But this really tastes good with this frosting on the top. Kind of makes it like a super cookie. You can see by frosting them when they're still warm, it kind of helps even out the frosting, because this is a little, like I say, it's a bumpy cookie. I'm finishing up here, but I noticed that the corners are not, you know, totally frosted, so I would just go back and come around and make sure that the whole cookie has a generous amount of frosting. See, there we go. I'm ready to plate them up, and they're looking really good. Real Frisbee cookies. You gotta use the spatula to get them. These all look so good. I'm gonna have to have a bite out of this one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again.